Hi guys and welcome today. Thank you for talking to Two Finger Media. We're in Bristol. You guys are playing the Louisiana tonight, I believe.
That's correct, yeah.
You're currently on a mini headline tour.
Yeah.
I think this is the second of 4 dates.
Correct, yeah.
How was the first date in Norwich and how was that received?
It was excellent, yeah.
So,
Went down really well actually, yeah. Do you want us to individually this one?
Honestly, whatever you want to say about it, but I mean, is this the first sort of mini headline tour you've done for a long time? And get back out on the road,
That's the vibe,
clear the cobwebs.
Yeah, so basically, yeah, because we've got a new lineup and that's the new thing. And we've not been on the road for 18 months, maybe best part of 2 years. And then we were relentlessly on tour before that. We've got a new lineup, new drummer, new singer, new album to come out. And this is kind of, rightly so, cobwebs off and learning how to interact in a headline capacity.
So how has the dynamic of the band changed with the new lineup? Because obviously have you known each other for a long time, or is it totally a new format for you guys?
It's interesting actually, wasn't it? Because, well,
who was on X Factor?
Fortunately not.
Well, you came in first, didn't you? And you wrote loads of stuff with these boys.
Yeah, because Paul had been aware of Tom from a gig in his previous band, and that was about a year before.
That was a year before.
Yeah.
We had the lineup.
So
because you were one of the original founders of Federal Charm.
Yes, yeah. So basically, I'd seen Tom at a gig when his old band got Complex in Manchester, and he was the business at that point. We were flying with the previous lineup on a Planet Rock sponsored tour. And obviously these things there was no change imminent at the point, and Tom was the guy to come forward when it happened. Josh I've known through a mutual friend, and we played a wedding. We played Dave's wedding, and I said, he's the guy. Yeah. So I said to Dave, if we have to lose Danny or whatever it is,
you have a ready-made replacement that you guys have seen.
It was there and waiting. So it was staggered, and it was Tom first. Just came in, but it was within a matter of months, really.
I came in and recorded demos for
a session.
Yeah, that was the initial.
I was originally brought in for a session, for a recording session, but then it was just like,
Of course, we had it in the back of our minds that it did act as an advertisement. As you're playing.
So with this new lineup, then, with the new music we're talking about as well, how does what's the creative process behind that? You guys all have an input now? Is it the same?
Yeah.
So I mean,
it's a combination of everybody's.
We work together very well in the way that like Paul plays drums as well. So it's quite interesting because he'll come up with an idea, he'll show me it, and then I'll take it my own way. Which is very admirable to be fair, because you're actually quite a good drummer, aren't you? Really?
so you can kind of appreciate the other parts that are needed to make a whole song.
Yeah, well, where a lot of musicians could be a bit cagey about their parts and the role that they play in a band, I don't have a problem with it, and the ideas are great, and I just run with it. It almost makes it easier for me, to be fair.
It's the same in terms of vocals as well.
Yeah.
It's like if I'm ever struggling with a bit, like a melody, and just can't quite get it right, then I'll turn to these guys again.
We all like to jump in and
the one thing about us, it has been, to answer that question bluntly, it's been a complete solid, group affair. It's not always gone right. And that's good because we've discussed it, bashed it out, torn it apart 3 or 4 times, and everybody's happy with it.
That's the creative journey.
Swing Sinner, that's the newest song, isn't it?
Yeah.
Swing Sinner, and that's off the new album. But that's actually the youngest song, as it were. But it came together so quickly, and it was only we played it once or whatever in a rehearsal, and then we came back and we were like, I'm not happy with this bit, changed it, and then it was done. It's done, and it's quite possibly one of the stronger ones.
I mean, you're talking about the new album there.
Yeah.
When can we expect this new album?
September.
Yeah.
So, have you got all the songs recorded now, ready to?
Yeah.
Album's finalised, ready to go.
It's sounding massive. Yeah.
So, silly question, but are you guys happy? Because you have to be obviously happy, and you have to be proud of what you've done because it's out there for all eternity. Once it's released, you can't change it.
I'm telling you with this one, and I'm speaking on behalf of LD, the journey of this one hasn't been easy. And that's not a bad thing. It's been a couple of years in the making, and we've had more time to work and reflect on this one. I feel like we've got 2 very good, strong replacements for the previous lineup, and I think this is a supercharged, steroid version of Federal Charm that you know. And I think the songs are. I think we've got. The songs are great. We've gone to a bit of a heavy direction. and I just feel like it's almost like a new beginning. I feel like I'm starting again, but in a really good way.
Yeah.
So you have that excitement and that drive to become the best you can be as a band, as a new band.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Federal Charm, but in a new guise.
Yeah.
And well, of course, for the fan base that we have built up over this considerable number of years, we've maintained the essence of what we did have before, and just brought it into this new group.
So this journey that the fans have been on as well with you guys, do you have a really good reaction? Sort of a good rapport with the fans. Is it very close, sort of knit team?
Too close.
Too close. So any slight changes in the band or lineup can sometimes cause eruption.
We were concerned about that because it was such we're connected to a very core group of people around the country that anybody in the right mind would have thought, I hope people buy into this next step, and luckily we've had a very good response. But we can't say we haven't done what we feel is right for the brand or the name, and it's past. I can't say anything else apart from that, really.
I think as a band as well, you have to believe in what you're putting out there, because you can't fake that bullshit on stage. People see it, so you have to believe it. And if you're happy with it, the fans will buy into that as well.
I don't think we'd be playing these dates if we weren't happy as well.
And that's it. The first gig in Norwich last week was an important indicator of exactly what we've just been talking about.
See the people.
The fact that it's the faithful fans in the large part that have come to that show.
So I think the next show is your hometown show, is it? Is that one of those that's going to be like?
It's going to be a very momentous occasion.
It's nuts, that one,
to be back.
One that you possibly won't remember, but for good reason.
Before I've played.
Sorry, did we play a gig tonight? Just wake up in Newcastle.
That's the next one.
Well, that is,
I mean, I saw a quote about you guys. One of the rock magazines, I think from maybe a few years ago, says the Black Crows meets the Temperate movement. Now that's a hell of an accolade to sort of be almost not pigeonholed into that, but it's two such great bands compared to that. I mean, who would you guys say that your major influences are in the music you're playing now? You said earlier that it's slightly heavier than previous records. So who would you sort of turn to as influence?
Individually, I think it's all different.
Yes. Which always helps.
Collectively, because of that individuality, that mix isn't really thought. It's not conscious. I was brought up on 60s, 70s rock and roll, and I loved it when I was a teenager, and I love it until I drop dead. And that's what I want to bring to Federal Charm, and I always want to make it kind of. I mean, a lot of contemporary kind of influence as well. I mean, I can go as far from, your Panteras, your Van Halens, your Rage Against the Machine, your Led Zeppelins, your Kinks, your Beatles, your Queens of the Stone. I mean, literally, the melting pot is ridiculous. Yeah, everybody. There is no direction. We don't sit in a rehearsal room and go,
we want to write a song like this.
It's just what we
and that's the best way to be. You want other people to sound like you. Rather than you sound like
very good.
You want somebody to be doing a cover of a Federal Charm song in a year's time or 2 years' time. So individuality is the best way to go.
They put that in a wedding set, one of our songs.
just to get it.
Yeah, just to get it.
Guess what?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you talk about this mini tour, which is great, and just sort of say testing the water, getting the cobwebs blown out. Have you guys got festivals lined up for this year? Obviously, we're coming into festival season pretty soon.
We've got 2 or 3 because we've just signed with an agency called TKO at the beginning of the year, and because of that, we've missed a few of the festival slots that we could have had, but we've been sat in a studio recording, so I don't think the timing was there. It wasn't possible to get everything, but we have got Planet Rockstock, we've got HRH in Sheffield, and we've got a festival in Devon. It's the Blues and Rock Rhythm and Rock Festival.
Right.
We've got 3 or 4 festivals spanned over a few months.
I mean, a lot of the festivals I've noticed this year have got amazing lineups. Doesn't matter where it is in the country or what time of year. There just seems to be a phenomenal lineup of bands now. And I think this is probably one of the most strongest festival seasons I've seen on paper for a long time.
Yeah.
So I mean, like you say, with a festival though, do you guys, because obviously you're music fans, you're rock fans as well, is it an opportunity to see people that you know, other bands, watch them, or is it, but also to reach a far wider audience that may not know your music? That's the best opportunity.
Because of this time off as well, there's a lot of bands, a lot of very good bands that have come out when we were. This is kind of encompasses what you're talking about, that we were doing a lot of touring 2 years ago with these bands that are breaking through, like your Stones Brokers, your Bad Flowers, and it's good to kind of catch up with those guys, because they're doing really well and they've got really good strong albums out. I'm just glad that we can kind of rush towards being part of that group again.
I mean, over the last couple of years especially, I've noticed so much good young British music that's coming through. The future of rock and roll is so strong, in my opinion, for this country. It's unbelievably strong.
Oh yeah, it's totally changed, isn't it, really?
But there's also very, very few clones of other bands.
Yeah.
That every band seems to have their own unique
Yeah, it's great.
sort of music and stamp to bring to this whole sort of
Yeah.
new rock and
That's
roll.
It's exciting, it's brilliant.
masterclass.
Yeah,
It's brilliant.
as we were just talking about, the fact that there is so much history in the genre,
Yeah.
and just as we were going through before, just listing just a great number of artists across spanning decades.
Exactly.
There's so much to pull from, and everyone is gonna pinpoint different aspects of the genre that they like, and how they want to bring that into their own band's music.
I mean, it's exciting as a fan to not have a clone of Van Halen, not have a clone
Yeah.
of Led Zeppelin, Lynyrd Skynyrd, whatever. And you have got all right, you've got the influences, and you can sort of subtly hear some of these within certain
As did
tracks,
they. Yeah.
but it's still individual new songs and new sound, and it's phenomenal.
Yeah, I think that subtlety is the key factor.
it is,
You never want something that is
don't-
so obviously.
They sound so much like
Yeah.
your dad.
Yeah,
Exactly.
you don't want that, yeah.
So you've got a few festivals lined up. What about touring wise? You're doing obviously this mini tour right at the moment. Have you got any plans for when the album's released in
Yeah,
September? I think you said to tour that album.
We're collaborating with Planet Rock Radio in September, and there will be an announcement at the end of this run of dates, which ties in with our album release as well. So within the next 4 or 5 weeks, you're going to be hearing about a full UK tour. I think it's about 2 or 3 weeks, from mid-September to early October. And then we've got a confirmed tour with, is it Molly Hatchet?
Yeah.
Molly Hatchet.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that finishes the year. Then we've got Planet Rock Stock, and so there's a hell of a lot of road work hanging around the album release in September. So we just can't wait to get over to that part of the year. Really,
This is just the precursor to all
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
essentially.
And what's it like having a huge operation like Planet Rock pushing you guys and right behind you guys?
very honourable. Yeah, it's perfect. Yeah.
It must be sort of quite a good feeling to have that.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yes.
Actually have a rock station where people actually listen to decent music,
Yeah.
as opposed to some shitty commercial crap pop rubbish.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah,
That's my opinion, not the band's, by the way.
No, it feels right, and I think it's a great hub. I hate that word. It's a great home, but it's right.
Because I've spoken to many bands and many fans that have said, we only came to see you tonight because we heard you on Planet Rock.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's
And
amazing
luckily
how many
tonight
people-
we've got Wyatt Wendell's Planet Rock up.
Yeah,
yeah.
So that's a good thing. We're honoured for him to come and get on the bill. It was a nice call, that. So.
And of course, it's been a valued connection for a little while now. It's really starting with the Planet Rock Road Stars, the first of its kind.
Yeah.
That
First
tour
road,
on
yeah.
December 16. Yeah,
So I think the last one
it's
was
great to just.
Bad
Yeah.
and Broken with Rebels, wasn't
Yeah.
it?
We were the guinea
It's great
pigs.
to keep it ongoing now into the rest of the year.
It is a great setup, and it does give. I don't like even the word emerging bands, but it gives bands the chance to get out there in front of each other's fans, and also to bring.
We're glad it's there. It's for bands at this level. It's a very it's a beautiful forum, because it opens the doors wide, globally for everyone to listen to this kind of music. If you're pulling in this kind of crowd, and all it takes is one song and you're done, aren't you?
So let's talk support slots as well, because that's obviously another important factor in touring. Like you say, you're touring with Molly Hatchet. Probably the best live album I've got is a Molly Hatchet one from back in the day. It's amazing. Who would be your ideal or your favourite people to tour with? Who would it be?
We've toured with everybody. Last 5 years we've been there. We've been a support band. We'll bring Special Sharp. I don't know.
There must be somebody you think one day I would love to share the stage with these guys, just because. And then bucket list gone.
I would have killed to have opened up for Sabbath. That would have been But that tour was great. That's a big influence on me. I'm a big Sabbath fan, and I think that would have been a fantastic, fun experience.
Just settle for Ozzy now.
Absolutely, I'll take Ozzy. I'll take
Ozzy, if you watch this, there you go.
What about you, Tom? If you could.
Well, I mean, like hypothetically, even if anyone that say if they were all still alive.
Oh, one of those, yeah.
Yeah. Zeppelin, man.
It would have been, yeah.
Or the Stones, I suppose.
I didn't want to go down that road. It's too obvious, wasn't it?
I think this basically goes back to the influences as well, the individual influences, who you were brought up with, who you listened to as a kid, but it's amazing. Guys, listen, if there's anything else you want to tell us about the new music, new lineup, now's your chance.
Well, I suppose just to be ready for the new music very soon.
So basically
we
check
have
out your social media, check out the website,
exactly,
check out
yeah, because it
Facebook.
won't be long until we actually do have some of this coming out. So,
and we look forward to the announcement you said in the next 3 or 4, 5 weeks or so. Check
make
the website
sure you
again.
don't miss these dates.
We've got singles coming out and videos coming out. There's loads of stuff that's about to drop.
Album due in September, tour around that time.
We've just got lots of stuff and it's not out yet. We can't wait to give it you. We want to give it you.
Right, guys, well, thank you for talking to Two Finger Media today. Have a fantastic show tonight at Louisiana and Bristol.
Cheers.
And we look forward to seeing it soon.
Thanks very much.
Thanks, everyone.